All right, folks, welcome back to the Hennessy Performance Racing League. We are here for some Xfinity action. Race 10 of 15, the regular season finale at Talladega. I am Shake. I'm joined by the voice of Hennessy, Jake. How you doing tonight, bud?
Buddy, I cannot wait. I'm glad to be here, and it's been a while since I got a chance to call some Xfinity action, and buddy, I couldn't have asked for a better person to work with than you, man. I'm very excited to be here tonight.
Yeah, I am very excited myself, and it's going to be an absolutely wild night. As I've mentioned before, the regular season finale tonight, and a lot of scenarios that are going to make the playoff line, the cutoff line, very, very spicy. What are you most forward looking to, and what do you think we're going to have intensity-wise with all these scenarios potentially playing out?
Well, I mean, if there's one thing I'm looking forward to, I don't know if anybody's watched the Truck Series race last night. Drama happened between Cody the Bear and Freedom Flyer. That's probably going to play into tonight. We'll probably see some beating and banging between those two. And I mean, what are the playoff scenarios for any of the drivers? I mean, what more can you ask for? It's Talladega. It's the last race of the regular season. Things are about to get wild for us here, folks.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. There's a couple scenarios where, if you win, you're in, and there's a couple scenarios where people just got to point their way in. The biggest one that I am going to be watching tonight, your two-time winner, Nobes, he isn't even locked in yet. He is going to have a very good points night tonight to guarantee himself a playoff spot. But it's kind of a crazy thing to think. The man's got 2 wins this season, and he's not locked in. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I think it's really crazy considering the fact that Nobes has been around HPL for quite some time, and not to mention he's won Auto Club, he's won so many different races over the past couple of years, and the fact that he's not even in the playoffs is very crazy. But I do believe that when it comes to Nobes and Talladega, tonight's going to be his night because think about in the past. I mean, we've seen him win here multiple different times. We even seen him having a Cars moment with one of the drivers. I think with Mike G, I believe, in the Cup Series. So it's crazy, but I do believe that Nobes has the shot.
Well, I mean, just think about it. He won the season opener at Daytona, another super speedway. So the guy, he's already shown this season he can get it done at a track like this. And it's going to be interesting because, like I said, he doesn't necessarily need to win. A win would guarantee him a spot, but he just has to have a good points day. So I think the biggest thing for him is just going to be really track position. Try and get as many stage points as you can and just kind of try and be there at the end. And he should be pretty much locked in.
I definitely should. I mean, if you think about this, though, I mean, let's look back at what happened last night. I mean, King Mufasa won the start of the season, a.k.a. Daytona, and he won Talladega last night. And I believe tonight could be the same case scenario for Nobes tonight.
Yeah, it definitely would not shock me to see that. But a guy that you mentioned earlier, Freedom Flyer, he's down by the cut line. He is going to need a terrific points night to make his way in. I mean, honestly, 18 points, it's not an easy thing to make up in one night. So it's almost feeling like a must-win for him at this point. A few more guys that are in like some must-win scenarios are Movement and Killer. They both, I mean, they're 53 and 58 points back. They're not making that up in one race. They're a win and in scenario here. But how about last week's winner, Hendrick Chase? Stole one at Pocono. He's below the cut line still. So I mean, having this many different winners, it's really making things interesting. But guys below the cut line right now, who's your underdog, and who do you have as trying to sneak in?
Oh, man. See, now that's going to be the big difference maker here. So I'm looking at it right now as far as the cutoff line. You got Captain Jack. You got, like we mentioned, Hendrick and Freedom. Not to mention Wu Chia. But if there's one guy that I can see having himself a really good run, it has to be Captain Jack. Because let me tell you why. Captain Jack, he may have not had some of the best finishes over the start of this season, but I do believe that there's something in Captain Jack. The reason why Joker and Riley signed him to that 7 car really has a full potential. I do believe that there's something made for Captain Jack. Now, when it comes to Freedom Flyer, let's go ahead and talk about this. Me and you, we've called most of these races. He'll have a hot start to the start of the race, but he'll end up having something going on at the end of the race. Tonight cannot be that night for Freedom Flyer. He has to start a really good spot and finish strong for him to make it to the playoffs. So if I'm Joker, I would keep my eye on both Freedom and Captain Jack. Now Hendrick Knight Chase, something we also got to talk about. He won last week, but he desperately needs to get some points. And as far as Killer, with the way that he's starting in this race, honestly, he's going to have to have a make or break moment here tonight. I mean, he is currently going to be starting up at 13th. So I desperately need to see him do something if he wants to make his way up to the playoffs. Because once again, guys, this is the last race before the playoffs. The last race before we go into the new year, starting things off. So we're in for a very wild, wild night tonight there, Shake.
Yeah, and just pulled up a stream. That way we have a lap counter for tonight. The person on pole tonight is going to be Small NASCAR fan. He is starting on pole. I didn't get to see who is second. Or no, second is Masopes, I believe.
Yeah, Masopes, yeah.
Yeah, Masopes in second. So a couple guys up front that aren't really going to play too big of a factor in the playoff scenario tonight. But it could really make things interesting because a couple of the guys that we talked about needing solid point stays. Freedom starting in fourth. That's big starting up front. It's unfortunate he's going to be starting on the high side, but maybe he can sneak away down to the bottom because, I mean, I know I said he's almost in a must-win at 18 points, but starting up front, you got a chance to win stage 1 automatically. I mean, if you can get 2 stage wins, there is a way you point your way in, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot harder than just winning at this point. So he's going to be one of the ones to watch for up front. Who else did we talk about on the cutoff line?
Killer. Like we said before, I mean, he's starting up in 13th. I mean, he's going to have to work his way up to the front, get those much-needed stage points, and potentially get this win. So, if I'm Killer, I would do whatever it takes. I mean, we saw last night. I mean, it can be your biggest enemy. We saw Jackson Altman and Speed working together. He's going to have to work with either those that he likes or those he don't like. I mean, it's whatever it takes. It is a much win for Killer tonight.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting. One thing that's kind of shocking, and yes, it is a super speedway. I mean, qualifying isn't extremely important, but starting in the way back definitely doesn't help you. Elite starting in 19th place tonight.
Ooh, and he's been one that we've been watching over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and speaking of Elite, he is currently in third with McCard barely ahead of him in the point scenario right now, but with a start tonight, Noah's Bowl, Always Eric, Cody the Bear, whatever his name actually is during this week, he pretty much is going to lock up the regular season championship, which is going to be absolutely huge for him going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and something that we also got to pay attention to is that we're looking at this right now, thanks to Joker. The 6 and 18 are automatically in the playoffs with their wins, but if they both fall outside of the top 8, they will both be in the wildcard spots. The 6 can be eliminated if a driver with wins at Talladega and they can fall outside the top 8. I mean, there's a lot of these scenarios. I mean, we're looking at the 19 and the 21 here. We're seeing so many different things. I mean, Shake, we've got a chance to call most of these races this season. This is probably going to be the most crucial night, the most crucial race we've ever get a chance to call ever since the start of the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm happy you brought that up because maybe I just misread it. So then, what from your understanding, Nobes is in no matter what.
Yeah, Nobes is in no matter what, like you said before. But if they do fall out, but the thing is, they're going to have to stay inside the top 8. If they both fall outside the top 8, they will both be the wild card. The 6 can be eliminated if a driver with a win wins at Talladega and they fall outside the top 8 in points. Another thing, the 20, the 7, the 1, the 10, the 44, and the 22 can advance on points with a win or moving into the top 8 in points. The 16, 36, and 90 can advance to the playoffs by getting to the top 8 in points or winning the second race, moving to the second wild card slot. And with the 19 and 21 can advance to the playoffs with a win, and drivers with a win moving inside the top 8 in points. So we're going to have to pay attention to this. There's so much that we're going to have to keep an eye on this, and we got to go ahead and figure out who's our pick for tonight's race, because, man, we are in for a wild one, man.
Well, go ahead and start us off. Who's your pick to win tonight?
Honestly, if you're asking me, as far as the one guy that I desperately seen some great things from him, especially last night's Truck Series race, he finished second. I definitely want to see Speed Racer coming home with a win. But if there's a driver below the cutoff line that I want to see come home to a win, give me Freedom Flyer. Freedom Flyer is probably one of the most passionate drivers I've ever met. He's always giving himself a hard time, but that's because he's so passionate and he loves to do what he's doing. So I got both speed and freedom as we're.
Yeah, I was going to take freedom. I think he finally gets it done tonight, but I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach since you already went with freedom. It's kind of hard to bet against this guy at Super Speedways, King Mufasa, terrorist. I mean, the guy I don't know what it is about him. I don't know what he does differently than everybody else, but the guy always seems to find himself in a spot at the end of these races to win them. And with him being in the field tonight, it's hard to pick against him. So give me King Mufasa to get it done.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. And not to mention, something we also need to talk about is that the first two stages of yesterday's race were caution-free. I definitely do see that in this field, as bad as this field has been over the last couple of weeks. However, I do expect for them to start playing following the leader at the start of this race.
I definitely agree. I think stage 1 and 2 you're going to see a lot of single file, but here we go. We are going green as Small is going to lead us to the line, and Masopes on his outside. Ty Racing with a very good qualifying job by him. He's going to start up in P3, and you can already see the inside line is just kind of starting to gather some strength, and they are starting to gap the outside line a little bit as they lead the outside line by about 2 car lengths.
Yeah, nothing that we also got to mention too, the tandem moves is also below the cutoff line, so maybe he might get a chance to move his way up into the playoffs. He just needs to give himself a win. Also, we talked about the playoff scenario from the 19 of Ty Racing. He can get himself in with a win if he can finish inside the top 8. A lot of these scenarios for different drivers. Small NASCAR fan, he did a really great job at Daytona. Oh, speed goes up to the outside wall. But last time we saw Small NASCAR fan, he did win both stages at Daytona until he ended up losing that race.
Yeah, and another person I'm taking notes of, the person we've talked about quite a bit, Freedom Flyer. He is stuck on the high side, and he is just falling back. It's not a place you want to be here at Talladega in the wrong line on the high side, but he's finally able to get to the bottom line here.
There is one driver out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like we have one driver that's already lost the pack. Looks like McCard. Yeah, McCard has lost the draft, so he's going to be a sitting duck all by himself for this 11-lap stage. But don't think it'll be enough time for the field to catch him and lap him, but it's going to be a pretty boring, lonely stage for McCard.
I don't know what just happened to Moose right there, but he was sitting on the bottom line. They're 3 wide right back here with Jackson Altman and Killer. So if I'm Moose at this point, I would just try to go to the tail end of the longest line and try to just work your way up to the front. I mean, it's way too early. Like, we're seeing a move from Masopes, the 22 of, who is the 22?
22 is JoJo tonight.
JoJo, yeah, 22 of JoJo. They're starting to work on the high side here. Looks like that's Big Jim leading this pack, too. He's got Jackson Altman, he's got Killer, he's got Moose, but the problem is, though, is that it's way too early in the race to be doing this. You want to wait until at least like maybe or the last lap of the stage.
Yeah, definitely an early move by them, but maybe just, early on, seeing what you can do on the high side, seeing if you have the right chemistry with the guys you're working with to potentially make a high side work. But other than that, we are pretty much single file except for one guy towards the back of the pack. I can't tell who that is yet. It looks like it's the tandem Moose.
Yeah, it is the tandem Moose. Yes, you're correct. Something we also got to pay attention to. Last week's winner in Hendrick 9 Chase, stuck in the back. He's desperately going to have to work his way up to the front, try to get some much needed stage points because once again he's going to have to finish in the top 8.
Yeah, riding along with Masopes here. He's trying to see what he can do, making something happen on the high line here, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to work. Actually, looks like he has his former driver try to work with him, but he's actually going to hang him out to dry. Steelers boy went up there with him. It just didn't really pan out.
I mean, if I'm Steelers boy, I mean, I wouldn't blame him. I mean, if the high side's not working, go ahead and get down to the bottom because, I mean, at least you can do is try to gain positions instead of losing positions.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting to look at. Steelers boy started in dead last.
There was about to wreck, but they saved it thankfully. They're still side by side with Captain Dead Dad. Looks like the Tandem Moose, the 54 speed, and Hendrick Knight Chase. We also see the 19 trying to build up a second line.
Oh, maybe now 3 is Jim's going to force his way in there, and now Steelers boy's going to hop up to the outside. He's going to go all the way to the wall, maybe even get into it a little bit, trying to make something happen there.
He must have got up there way too quick. We're seeing a lot of movement up front, but that's going to put Lucia, who's also below the cutoff line, in second, which is good for him.
Yeah, and as you see, the high line is just not the place to be right now, especially if you don't have numbers. The Steelers went from about probably 8th place back to, it looks like, about 15th. So the high line, not the place to be unless you have a really, really good run and some people going with you. It's really just going to be pretty much a single file race until the end of these stages and the end of the race. I don't really see many moves happening.
No, one thing I can definitely tell you is that, when I called the Talladega race for the Truck Series last night, every time when there was like a pass that happened, it was always either on the second or the last lap. Oh, they're getting dicey right here with Cody the Bear, 3 wide.
We might have had just a little bit of a lag. People are in the wall. This is not good at all. It looks like we might have had a little bit of lag.
Freedom Flyer wrecked. I don't know if that's a caution.
We have an in-game caution. Yes, we have an in-game caution, which is going to make things very, very interesting. A lot of these guys are going to have damage, but this could be this could kind of change things for stage 2, because I mean, some of these guys in the back, you might as well come in and get fuel and get 4 tires and then stay out at the end of this to get track position. So this could make things really, really interesting.
It definitely is, and I don't know what happened there. I mean, I didn't even see lag. I don't know if you did as well, but they just all kind of wrecked right there. So that was pretty wild. But hey, good for small NASCAR fans to stay up front. If I'm him, I would just try to stay out, try to win the stage, and see what he can do. I believe we're still in stage 1, I believe.
Yes, still in stage 1. I will let you know how many laps we have coming to the line here in a second. As Small is going to lead us, Killer on the outside. Is Small? I guess Small might be dropping back. Maybe he did lag.
That's going to put Killer in the lead. We talked about it. He went from back in the pack to first, which is good for Killer. So he's going to take the lead. T-Bird's right behind Small NASCAR fan.
Small actually did a very good job of dropping back to the back of the pack, but also doing it in a way where he's not going to lose the draft. Oh, never mind. We are wrecking. Small is in the wall.
Fan, T-Bird elite.
Oh, man. We're going to have another caution probably, and that's probably going to end the stage. That is going to end the stage.
Killer's going to win that stage.
Yeah, Killer is going to win the stage. Masopes in second, JoJo third, Lucia fourth, Fire Slayer fifth, Ty Racing sixth, Big Jim seventh, Captain Dead Dad eighth, Eric's Moose ninth, and King Mufasa is going to be 10th.
Alrighty, I'm okay. I'm alright. So
what just happened?
I will tell you in the main chat or in the broadcast chat.
Alright, well, happy you're okay. But that is going to be the end of stage 1. You're going to see a lot of guys pitting, but a lot of guys also probably staying out if they did pit right before that caution, as it looks like we're going to have a new leader in Big Jim.
Yeah, new leader in general. Alright, looks like we're getting back to green.
Yeah, Big Jim's going to lead us to the line, and the 38's going to be able to sneak right in behind him, as this stage is going to be a 12-lap stage. So who do we have in the 38? Oh, that's King Move. Oh, my. Terrace has already found a way up here. And a guy that lost the draft early in stage 1, McCard, is in third.
They're about to wreck. They're 3 wide. Soaps, Speed, Hendrick Knight Chase. They're getting a bit dicey back here.
Yeah, a lot of beating and banging. Looks like 2 people aren't too happy with each other. Somebody just got walled.
I thought that was the Tandem Moose. I could be wrong. I see a blue and white car. I don't know what just happened. And Freedom Flyer still stuck in the back, and he needs to get up there. He needs to get up there and get those much needed points.
Yeah, up front we're pretty much single file. Everybody's just kind of riding along, but in the back it is getting pretty spicy. As your stage 1 winner, Killer, is going to get down to the bottom. He's going to be following, it looks like that is Jackson Altman. But up front we got just a train going. Everybody's in line.
Yeah, it is a train going as I can finally...
We got a couple people on the high side trying to make a move for the lead here. It looks like Jackson Altman is going to try and go to the lead. Him and Killer are going to make it, and they're going to leave Cody out to dry.
Wow.
Oh, man. A great move by those 4, but those 2 just absolutely dipped on the 15, and he's going to be hung on the high side, and he is going to end up falling way, way back. And that's going to be something at the end of this race that, I'll tell you one thing, Cody, I know from experience, he's going to remember that. He's not going to work with them at the end of the race, and if he does, he's only going to do it if it benefits him.
I definitely agree right there, man. We saw what happened between him and Freedom Flyer last night. But to see the 98, that was a very good move between him and Killer. Not to mention, look at the card. He's sitting up in 3rd. JoJo in 4th. Captain Dead Dad in 5th.
It looks like we have one driver that has lost the pack in tie racing, and that's not going to be good for him because, as we've said, he needs a good points day and a win to make his way into the playoffs.
So far, things have been getting very calm, but over the last... Oh, speeds around! Oh, my goodness,
into the wall. That is not going to be good. Not sure what happened there. I saw a little bit of contact with him, and I couldn't tell who else that was, but that is not going to be a... he's not going to be a happy camper after that.
No, he is not, and I'd definitely say that he would definitely get mad about that. I mean, crazy thing is, he went from having a second-place finish last night in the Truck Series to having himself a struggling race in the Xfinity Series. As far as playoffs, he should be okay.
Yeah, he's already advanced, so he is good, but he's still not going to be happy. But it looks like up here up front, we have a second line trying to form.
Being led by JoJo, Big Jim, looks like the 38 of King Mufasa, the 1 of Freedom Flyer, and Masopes. If they can get plenty more cars working on the high side, they do in Hendrick not Chase, they should be able to catch them up there, but they're losing a lot of position, they're losing a lot of time.
Yeah, they definitely don't have the numbers quite yet to make this work. You're going to need to have a little bit more than the inside line does, and you're going to have to, I mean, you have the right guy leading it. JoJo is definitely somebody you want leading it. He's going to hold a solid line. He's going to be an easy person to push, but it just doesn't seem like they have the numbers, and I don't think it's going to work out. You're going to see him continue to fall back.
And, of course, I mean, not to mention this, though, JoJo did come home with the top 3 finish last night in the Truck Series race, and this doesn't really surprise me with how good he can be. He can be really, really good and really steady at these super speedways. He's got to get a chance to have the right people. Oh, before he gets around, elite again!
He's going to save it, not hit the inside wall, but he's going to lose the pack.
Oh, my. They're about 3 wide, 4 wide back here. Oh, my goodness.
McCard's going to make a move to the high side here on Killer.
Elite's was just ready for the playoffs to start, because I know he's just like the 4th time he's been out of the pack, been getting wrecked. And Jim goes around, Big Jim goes to the wall.
There's a big stack up on the inside line, and Masopes is flying on the high side.
Oh my goodness, he's going to get to help with Cody the Bear, Wuchia, Freedom Flyer, but it looks like they're not going to help out Masopes at all, so they're going straight down to the bottom.
As Masopes with another aggressive move to the high side here. Not sure I really understand it. Oh, Cody's going to let him back in.
It's getting dicey up front too. You see the car trying to figure out if the 20 is willing to work with him or if he's willing to try to sit up to the high side. And looks like Masopes, he's desperately trying to find himself a second lane to get some people to work with him. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I think Masopes is the type of guy that doesn't really want to just kind of ride in the line the whole time. He wants to lead the line. And he's kind of showing that early on. He's not really too content being back here. I mean, even just in 6th place. I mean, a solid running position and a place where you're still in striking position at the end of the stage.
Yeah, definitely doing great. I mean, but Jackson Altman, him and Killer have been working very well together ever since they took the lead over. And I gotta say, Jackson Altman, if things go his way, I do expect to see some heavy blocks from them.
Yeah, and as we just crossed the line there, we have 5 laps to go in Stage 2, so we're not going to have any manual cautions the rest of this stage. It's only going to be in-game. But up front, it's just a single file line, one guy on the high side by himself, Moose. He's going to try and sneak his way back in.
There's a second line between T-Bird. He had somebody, I think that was King Mufasa right behind him, but yet they went immediately ditched on that. But something to point out is that it's either 2 or the last lap of the stage as where we see these passes. So I do expect to see something here in just a very few short laps.
Yeah, the guy I'm keeping an eye on right now, like we just talked about, I think the person that's going to make the move is going to be Masopes, as we have 4 laps to go here. So it's just kind of, it's going to be, can he get all these guys together to make the move? Or it looks like Steelers Boy might be backing up a little bit to make a move. Is he going to go here? I don't think they have the numbers to do it, but it looks like he might try it right here. He's got to run. He is going to take it. Steelers Boy is going to take the jump on the high side. They have a nice little run coming here. As can Steelers get up to Jackson, and can we see some side draft and influence this? I don't think they're going to have enough speed, though. That run seemed to have died out quite a bit, but let's see if they can get some numbers up here on the high side and make this work. They definitely have the numbers now, it looks like, as they're going to try and come down and side draft the inside line. They have the numbers they need to make this work, and it looks like there's a, I don't know if there's a lag, but there's a second pack now. As your front pack, it just seems to be around like 10 people.
Oh, Buchia was out of that line, so yeah, Steelers Boy stuck to the high side. He's just going to get right in front of Cody the Bear. 3 laps to go, and I do expect to see... Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, Joker. What happened to the second group? We don't know, but all I know is this is going to get a little bit dicey. Ooh, I thought I saw somebody right there.
This could get really crazy, because if they try and make another move here where it's 4 against 4, that second pack's going to have enough speed most likely to catch them. And that is going to make things really interesting, because if they do catch them, they are going to have quite a run. As it kind of looks like they are closing in already. So will this second group get here in time to make things interesting at the end of Stage 2?
I don't think they will. I definitely don't think they will, with how many laps we have left and how much time. And there we see it, though. McCart, he is backing up. He's pretty much waiting to get some much needed help. He's got Captain Dead Dad. I do expect McCart to go up to the outside here once when they catch up to Killer and Jackson.
Yeah, we'll ride along with the Soaps here. They're going to have a run. What happens? Throw that. They're going to take it to the high side. Jackson's going to try and stop him and block. He's going to block.
I told you.
Oh, contact between Masopes. Masopes making it 4 wide. They're beating and banging. Him and McCard, him and Steelers, 4 wide. As Masopes just got a little too aggressive there. As they're 3 wide for the race lead. But looky here, that second pack is here.
Captain Dead Dad's going to lead this lap.
As here we go, white flag in the air for Stage 2. Up front, it looks like we have Killer on the inside leading us. As this 3 wide is going to be hard to maintain. Steelers Boy in second, his teammate behind him and Cody. What will these two do? Are they content running second and third, or will they make a move? We have a lap car up here in the way.
That is T-Bird. That is T-Bird. What is he doing?
T-Bird very slow. T-Bird's going to block. Steelers Boy to the inside. He's going to take the lead.
What was that? That is race manipulation right there. That has to get... That is... Killer had that stage win. I am sorry. What was that?
It looked like a Captain Dead Dad move if I've ever seen one. But up front, Cody's going to get to the outside. He's going to try and side draft Steelers, but they're wrecking behind, though. Who's going to win to this line here? It looks like we have a caution before we even get there. We do have a caution, so I'm not sure who is ahead at the end of the stage break.
That was... No. That was wild. Who won the stage? Do you know?
I am not sure yet. Captain Dead Dad did not scroll up. He started scrolling up for a second, but he didn't. So I'm not sure who actually won Stage 2, but it was between Steelers and Cody. They were side by side right there as the caution came out, but not quite sure who got it.
I just gotta say one thing. That was very uncalled for T-Bird to do that. He was a lap car. He should have got out of the way. Instead, screws up Killer. I'm sorry, but that was that was wrong on T-Bird's part. That has to be like race manipulation.
From the looks of things, it looks like Steelers Boy might have gotten the win unless his pit crew just did a better job and got him out ahead. But it looks like Steelers Boy won Stage 2 as he's going to restart on the inside line with his teammate Cody the Bear on the outside as Stage 3 is underway, as it is going to be 29 laps here in Stage 3. So it looks like if this thing stays green, we're definitely going to see some green flag pit stops, which is going to make things interesting. But looks like, look at the high side really work. Oh, two cars.
Did that put T-Bird to the apron right there?
Yes, we're that 3 wide. Who is the 89? They are really making this third line work.
That 89, that is
Fire Slayer.
Fire Slayer.
Yeah, as Steelers Boy's going to be able to clear on the inside, but we are still 3 wide, and that outside line is really prevailing against the middle line, but Cody's finally going to be able to get down, and the middle line is really dying out now.
Man, that second line is going to fall short as Steelers Boy is going to still stay in the lead. And look at the 2 drivers that desperately need to get their way to the playoffs, or should I say 3. You got Hendrick 9 Chase, you got the 44 Killer, you got the 10 of Movement. They're inside the top 4, and they desperately need to work their way up to make sure they get a win.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have a long way to go, but I can tell you if it stays like this, those 3 are going to have to work together while trying to beat each other, because I can tell you that 5th place car is not going to push them ahead of Steelers. That's a teammate. I don't see him making a move with those 3. So it's going to be interesting to see out of those 3 in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, are they going to work together or are they going to work against each other? What's going to be the real game plan?
I mean, really, truly, yes, it is the last regular season race, but it's everybody's ball game. It is make it or break time. I mean, we saw Killer. He was leading that stage until we saw what happened to T-Bird. I mean, Moose wants to get his way up into the playoffs. Hendrick 9 Chase, he's already got himself a win, but he needs to finish inside the top 8. I mean, really, truly, if I'm Hendrick, I would just focus on trying to do what I can until we get to green flag stops, or if we even make it to green flag stops.
Yeah, I mean, Stage 3, I mean, it's definitely fanning out a little bit, but it's mostly single file. As Steelers Boy, it looks like he's going to give up the lead. This might be a fuel strategy move by him. He might want to get behind somebody to save some fuel. That way, his pit stop can be a little bit shorter. He's going to get in line right in front of his teammate, Cody.
Well, not to mention that, I mean, something we talked about last night is that if you're the leader, you're the one that's wasting the most fuel. So, I mean, good for Steelers Boy to try to get down to the bottom and try to get behind somebody so he can have the draft to save fuel. But now Hendrick 9 Chase is in that same situation. He's wasting the most fuel. But the guys that's trying to be able to save and try to be able to work on something like that is Killer and the guys right behind him.
Yeah, but it looks like you got 2 guys up on the high side right now that don't really care about saving fuel. They look like they want to get to the lead, and that's Jackson Altman, but Ty Racing is going to get back down at the bottom. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who can, I mean, because saving fuel here is going to be huge. Cutting a couple seconds off that pit stop, if you can take a half can less than the rest of the competition, is an absolutely huge thing at these plate tracks. So, I'm not really sure how the tires are going to stack up for this run. I mean, obviously at super speedways, the tire wear isn't really one of your biggest concerns, but the fuel definitely is, and we're going to see how this all ends up working out because, I mean, being the leader, like you said, you're burning the most fuel, and that could end up costing you later on.
I mean, something that we got to think about this, though, is that, I mean, Killer, I mean, Moose, Steelers Boy, they got it made, but the one thing I'm really questioning is why is Jackson, Big Jim, and Mufasa trying to start up a second line. I don't know what they're doing, but this is not going to be the best hope. And look at Hendrick Chase.
It looks like Hendrick said he's done leading. He's tired of burning fuel. It looks like he's going to try and give the lead up, or maybe he's not. Maybe he's giving the draft to the second line because, like I said, it looks like Jackson Altman wants to lead this race. And if I'm Hendrick, go ahead, lead the race. I'll stay behind and save fuel.
And watch Jackson come down to the bottom. Mufasa's going to go down to the bottom, but that's going to leave JoJo and Silla's boys sit and duck. But it looks like they got the 19 of Ty Racing, the 20 of Captain Dead Dad, the 54 of Speed Racer, and looks like the 8 of Elite Precision.
Yeah, not quite sure what Steelers boy was doing there, jumped to the high side, because now he's really going to have to push when he could have just stayed in line and saved fuel. But I guess that's why I'm broadcasting, not racing. Oh, as we are going 3 wide, it's getting a little squirrely. It looks like Eric's Moose kind of shoved it in underneath Cody there. Ties in the wall with Captain Dead Dad. Will Dead Dad be able to stay on the back of the draft? I don't know. He lost a lot of speed. It's going to be close. I'm watching his stream to see if he can even stay with him. He still has it. It's going to be close. I think he's going to be able to stay in the pack.
He should be able to stay in the pack, and one thing I can definitely say is that word of advice from another driver when it comes to Sharp, he said, tough to make the high line to work from that far back, but love to see the effort. And he knows what it's like to win here. He knows what it's like to get a chance to race here. You got to have the right time at the right moment to be able to make all these moves. And for Jackson, for Mufasa to have that second line really played out for them, not to mention with how much fuel that Jackson is wasting.
Yeah, and for a second there, it looked like we were going to have 2 packs, but that second pack was able to catch back up pretty quick. So everybody's pretty much still together. It looks like we do have one person that is out of the draft. Let's figure out who that is. They're back there by themselves. Where are they
Logan
at?
Aim.
Logan Aim. Unfortunate. Guy we really haven't talked much about in this series this year.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. As yeah, so go ahead there.
Just going back up front though, Jackson still leading us, and the super speedway king himself, Terrorist, just hanging out in second place. And it's going to be interesting to see also, because I mean, you called the truck race last night. You saw Jackson and Musa, they work together quite a bit. So could this be a situation where Jackson's okay leading to really help his teammate save fuel?
I can definitely see that being the case. Oh, Big Jim goes up to the wall.
Yeah, Killer up into the wall as well, as him and Movement made a little bit of contact, as things are starting to get a little bit dicey, as we have about 9-8 laps to go until we would need some green flag stops. But up front, it's still... Oh, never mind. Look at Hendrick Chase trying to make a move on the high side. Not quite sure what he's doing there. At this point, I mean, I kind of just want to stay in line.
I don't know, but it looks like Mufasa's down to the yellow apron. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's signaling to go down to the pits or what. But one thing we can say is kind of like the regular NASCAR is that these drivers cannot pass below the yellow line. I don't know what Mufasa was trying to do right there.
Not sure if he got sent down there.
Moose and Cody the Bear.
Yeah, that leads me to believe. That leads me to believe that when Cody went up the track earlier, that he was sent, because he's one guy, and he said it to me last night when we were talking about the him and Freedom incident. He said, "If you door me, I'm gonna door you." He's kind of an eye for an eye kind of driver, so and maybe that was a little bit of payback from earlier.
It has to be. I mean, and I can tell you this though, I heard the talk between Joker and Cody the Bear. Joker was not too happy with the way that Cody was racing his driver, so Cody doesn't really care at all. But we can see that right here in this race. I mean, he's currently inside the top 5, working his way up there. But the problem is that it's almost time for green flag pit stops.
Yeah, but I mean, speaking of Cody, that is one thing I will say that has kind of impressed me this year. I mean, yes, he at the beginning of the year, we were calling him the wrecking ball. I mean, he was making contact, but for the most part, he has cleaned it up a little bit this season, unless he gets hit. If he gets hit, he seems to return it. And, I mean, being one of the youngest guys in here, sometimes people are going to try and walk all over you, so defending yourself is important, as we are going 3 wide now.
Cody the Bear was trying to make a move, but Uchia was not going to let that happen.
As it looks like Hendrick, is that Hendrick that was finally able to get back down to the bottom again? It is.
Give me 1 second, okay, buddy?
All right, sounds good. But, yeah, back up front. Jackson still leading us. King Mufasa in second. Nothing really happening. Elite and Freedom on the high side by themselves, just trying to make something happen, but it is just a train on the bottom here. As coming to the line here, we are going to have 17 laps to go. So, I'm pretty sure at this point, if we were to pit, we can make it on fuel. But, I mean, you're going to want to run this thing out as far as you can to stay with the draft as long as possible, and then take as little amount of fuel as possible as well. So, it's going to be interesting to see who saved enough to take a half can less than somebody else, what people are going to do tire-wise, because it looks like we're going to at least need right side tires, maybe even 4. So will somebody gamble and only take right side tires? It could be interesting to see.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you know, the problem is, though, I mean, last night's race we had a caution, and they did take right sides except for Jackson Altman and Captain Dead Dad. I wouldn't be surprised if there would be any drivers that would be willing to take 2 tires. But there will be some that are willing to gamble, take only fuel only, and could possibly ruin their race.
There's another interesting person to look out for, Speed Racer. I'm not quite sure. He might still be a lap down because him and T-Bird were both a lap down at the end of that last stage. I don't know if he stayed out and got the lucky dog or the wave around or what, but he might be a lap down. I'm not sure. I'm not able to tell at this point, but he is up near the front now.
That I have no idea, but the one thing I can definitely tell you is look at the tandem moves. He's been very aggressive. He's been trying to work his way up to the front, trying to work on the high side, getting bumped out of the way. He's stuck on the outside, and there's the 15 that go to the bear. He might make some contact with him after what we saw pretty much about 5 laps ago.
Yeah, it looks like we have 2 people signaling to pit already. It looks like Jackson and Moose are going to be coming down to pit road this lap. And if it's only those 2, that is going to be quite a disadvantage for these 2.
Well, I mean, one thing I can honestly say is that whenever it was green flag stop time, I mean, there was a wreck right there going into pit road, and I wouldn't be surprised. Did you say Jackson signal?
Yeah, they both went down. Maybe that was a fake to see if they would get anybody else to go down by themselves. So, either it was a fake or something happened and they both ended up below the apron on the backstretch.
That or Jackson was just trying to be a troll at the moment. I don't know, but it's hard to say. But knowing Jackson, he always likes to trick his fellow competitors, and that doesn't surprise me not one bit.
Oh, here we go. Speed to the outside. He had quite a run. Elite's going to be pushing him. Can these guys make something happen right here before green flag pit stops? As Speed with a heck of a run to the high side here.
And look at the one of Freedom Flyer with them as well.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to clear. And this also is not a good spot to be in. If you're stuck on the high side for green flag pit stops, it makes things really, really tricky. And things seem to get messy when that happens.
Everybody is wanting to go up to the high side. You see the 19 of Ty Racing trying to join them as well.
Yeah, it seems like everybody was trying to get the best track position they could get right before green flag pit stops.
Speed's going to go to the outside. He's going to be 3 wide back here.
Yes. It looks like that run really did die out, and Speed lost all that track position, so that's going to be unfortunate for him. We do have one DNF, Logan Aim. He is out of the race.
Yeah.
And now Mufasa going to take the lead as Jackson Altman is going to go to the high side. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but
Jackson's not going to get down to the bottom unless Jojo lets him to. Oh, there's been contact being made between Hendrick and Chase. Oh, and T-Bird and Small NASCAR fan are going at it as well.
As Jackson's going to be able to get down to the bottom in front of Killer here. And it's going to be interesting. We got to be coming down soon. As we do have a couple people.
Speed.
Couple people coming down pit road, so
masopes.
It looks like we're going to have a split strategy here between a bunch of guys. It looks like half the field should be coming in this lap, half most likely the next lap.
But one thing I'm kind of curious about is how they're going to get in the pit road. We see people speed. Oh my goodness, we see Jackson Open down there going as fast. Oh, this might be a caution. Oh my god, that was close.
It looks like everybody was able to make it in there fairly smoothly. Except for what happened to JoJo? JoJo must have missed pit lane. He's going to have to stay out another lap.
He's by himself. I don't know what happened with JoJo, but looks like the rest of the field is going to be coming down. No, except for Big Jim. Big Jim and those behind him did not signal either.
Oh, and it looks like we had a couple people get speeding penalties. Captain Dead Dad with a 31-second pit stop. He's going to have a speeding penalty. That's going to be the end of his race unless there's a caution. As let's watch these front guys. So they're all coming in. They're fanning out.
My gosh, look at how fast they're going. We could see a couple.
Oh, contact!
Oh my god! That's gonna be oh my god, Freedom Flyer got crushed up like an Oreo from its sponsor. Oh my goodness.
That is not going to be pretty. Freedom is not going to be happy about that.
Oh my god. That has got to be the end of Freedom's race right there. Oh my god. That has to be a caution.
Yes, we are still green on the track at least. I'm going to ride along board with who was our leader going in. It was, well, it looks like Steelers Boy's going to win it out. Steelers Boy's going to win the race out of pit road. And let's see if this second pack catches them or not and when and where they catch them. But Steelers is he's going to be a sitting duck. He's out there by himself right now. Oh, a little bit of lobby lag or glitch as Mufasa's racing sideways right now on my screen.
Real quick though, look at Jackson and Killer. They are working very well together. They just passed Big Jim. They're going to the straightaway. Looks like they catch up to Cody the Bear. No, that's the small NASCAR fan. If they can get small NASCAR and maybe Big Jim, they have the potential of trying to catch up to this front pack here.
I don't think they're going to be able to, as the front pack looks like they kind of got it sorted out. And your front four, it's going to be Steelers, Fire Slayer, Elite, and King Mufasa.
You know, I definitely got to give credit where credit's due to Elite Precision. He's been involved in pretty much most of the incidents that has happened in this race, and from working his way up from the back, he's up in the front in top three. Fire Slayer, he's been working really hard to make it up to the top three, and of course Steelers Boy, we saw what happened to Pocono. He had the race won. If it was, of course, now he's leading this race, but the problem is though, he's gonna have to work on trying to block anybody to get this win.
Yeah, and the guy right behind Steelers, somebody who these two have not gotten along very much this season in the server. Fire Slayer and Steelers don't seem to be the best of friends, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, as we don't have many laps to go. I believe we are coming to 8 laps to go here.
And hey, if you think about this though, if they can catch up to Terrace, Draft, Jackson, and Killer, we'll be able to catch up to them. I think that's what the situation is right here.
Yeah, I think that's what Terrorist wants. He's trying to get those. He definitely wants Jackson there. He definitely wants Jackson to work with him as they are able to catch him. So now this race is going to be between 6 people, as those two are trying to make the high side work by themselves. Don't know if they're going to be able to, but they are going to be able to clear Terrorist. But now it's going to be a 3-on-3 type of battle, it looks like.
I'll be very surprised to see if Fire Slayer would be willing to work with Silver's Boy. Like you mentioned before, they have went at each other in the Discord, so I don't know. I'm kind of waiting to see what's going through Fire Slayer's head. I mean, yeah, you're working with somebody you don't like, but that's the problem with every driver, that you don't have to be buddies with the person in front of you. As long as you get a chance to work your way up to the front and try to come home with a really good finish, that's exactly what matters. But what Steelers Boys needs to do is he needs to focus on who's right behind him, where's the movement, where is the line coming to, see what he can be able to do as far as blocking.
Yeah, and right now it just seems like these front 6, single file, we are coming to, I believe, 6 laps to go. So let me get a check on Captain Dead that stream. Yeah, he has 7 to go, so the leaders are coming to 6 to go. As looks like the last three are going to try and make a move on the high side. Nope, they're going to tuck back in. No, now they are going back to the high side. Maybe just get a little bit of last-second draft from Elite and try and make a move on the high side. If Steelers is smart, though, just stay on the bottom and block the bottom here. There's no need to go up 3v3 unless they have a heck of a run. I don't see them clearing you.
There are approaching up to another lap car, but hopefully they won't pull a T-Bird and have race manipulation. I don't think they will. It looks like to be, I don't know if it's that JoJo or if it's a green car.
It's either JoJo or movement, and if it's the second one, we could see some race manipulation. But yeah, these front six, it's all between them. Unless there's a caution, there's no way anybody else is going to be able to catch them as we come to the line with 5 laps to go now. The real question is who makes the move and when do they make the move?
I mean, really, truly, let's talk about this one. We talked about it at the start of our pre-race show going into this race. The 44 of Killer, he needs to win his way into the playoffs. He desperately needs to get himself a win. And I'm sure that Jack Solomon and King Mufasa be willing to help. I mean, Elite, he's already in the playoffs. He's already advanced. He's got nothing to worry about. But I kind of think that he may want to make a move to try to come home and finish the season out strong with a win. But it is still his boy, who we talked about it last week, had the race won at Pocono, but instead ended up having a rough finish and giving Hendrick not chase the win. So it is making or breaking time for these drivers, especially with 4 to go.
Yeah, 4 laps to go. And another thing to watch out, like we talked about, this lap car coming up ahead. Do these guys in the back of this small pack try and make a move and use the lap car to their advantage? That could play a factor in this.
I can see it. I mean, there is a potential. I mean, JoJo may want to help Killer get to the playoffs. I don't know. But I do know that JoJo will get out of the way. He is nothing like T-Bird, so ain't nothing to worry about here.
As they approach the lap car here, he's going to hold his... Yeah, he's going to hold his line. And,
oh my God, he made
Fire with a little bit of contact. Oh, and now Elite and him making contact. What? This is going to spice things up. Elite to second place, Jackson to third, King Mufasa to fourth, Killer to fifth, and Fireslayer is going to drop all the way back to sixth. Now
he's not going to be happy with JoJo right there. I don't know what just went down.
I mean, it's not necessarily the worst thing. He held his line. He let everybody else go by, and it almost seemed to me like Fireslayer came down into him, if I'm being honest. So, Killer hit the apron a little bit. As now with JoJo in the back, does he work with these guys? And what is Steelers doing?
I have no idea. He's letting them go by.
Steelers might not have enough fuel to make it to the end because he's been leading.
I was wondering why he came out of the pit road so quick.
He might not have taken enough fuel. Oh my goodness.
Gosh, wow.
That's going to really make things interesting as now Elite... Oh, we have a caution! Caution!
What?
Cars are spinning in the back! Ty Racing's around, Cody's around, masopes is around.
That's going to be a green-white checkered.
Oh my goodness. That just changes everything. And it's such bad timing for Steelers. Boy, he gave up the lead to save fuel. The guy has had the worst luck in the league. He has to.
Gosh. And oh my goodness.
Oh my, that just made everything hectic. We were going to have a 6-car race for the win, and then a late caution changes everything.
Jackson is not too happy with that. He is mad. He said he needs a full investigation on this race. Oh my goodness. And that's going to put Elite in the lead.
Yeah, Elite is going to be your leader with Jackson on the high side, King Mufasa on the inside.
But look at the one of Freedom. He's right there with him in 6th. And one thing that we can say is that 98 and the 44, both Jackson and Killer, they've been working very well together. But the problem is, though, everybody's going to be going down to the bottom. I don't think anybody's going to give enough room to help them get down to the bottom. I know Mufasa will want to help out for sure.
Yeah, as you can see, Mufasa is definitely backing off because he wants to create a run, but there's no point creating a run when you have somebody on your high side right now. As Elite's going to go up to try and block Jackson. Jackson's going to make a run on the high side here. He might be able to clear with the help of Killer. King Mufasa with absolutely no push to the back of Elite.
My gosh. And that's going to put Jackson in the lead. I don't think he's willing to leave Killer like that. They're side by side going into the trial. Oh my goodness.
As Mufasa is just not going to push Elite, he's going to let Jackson Altman clear with Killer as well. Oh my goodness.
White flag.
White flag in the air. Jackson leading it on the high side with Killer right there. But Elite by himself basically fighting back on the inside. No help from King Mufasa at all. What's going to happen here? The real question is if McCard clears this. McCard's going to clear. He's going to get down to the bottom. But so is Jackson. Jackson's going to get down to the bottom. And they're wrecking behind. They're wrecking behind.
Jackson was going to win this race.
No, he's giving up the spot to Killer. Killer's going to clear. Killer is in the lead.
Oh
it looks like
God.
we're still green. We're still green.
On the outside. Jackson open on this side. We're about to get a close finish.
Yes, we are. As Jackson on the inside, Killer's going to be able to clear it. They're going below the Freedom into the wall. Killer is going to lead. Killer is going to win the race.
He's going to win the race. Oh my goodness. Killer is in the playoffs.
Killer, Jackson, and Fire Slayer are our top three.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not quite sure how I feel about the end of that race. I'm going to keep my opinions to myself. But Killer is going to get a win.
That was.
Are you able to invite them?
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be the most interesting interview I've ever got a chance to be a part of. Oh my God, I'm sorry, but that was race manipulation. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to have our feelings on the side, but that was race manipulation at best. I can't be the only one that thinks that, right? I mean, you have to
like I said, I'm going to keep my my thoughts to myself.
Killer, Fire Slayer, and who?
Killer, Fire Slayer, and Jackson Altman was second.
Wow. There's gonna have to be a lot of explanation right there. If I've ever seen one. I'm gonna keep it to myself, but that was oh boy. That was alright. Alrighty. Shake.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're just gonna wait to see if we got Fire Slayer in here, but we'll go ahead and start with our second place finisher, Jackson Altman. You got a copy, bud?
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on a second place finish tonight. Seemed like you had a really fast car. You seemed to be a fairly aggressive driver as well as being one who wanted to make moves and get to the front. What was your mindset going into tonight's race, and how were you able to really capitalize on some of the moves that you made?
Yeah, so going into the race, this is my first race back, and I like my super speedway skills, so I just try and get to the front, and at the end of these races, it's all mayhem, so I just pray I win.
All right, so at the end of the race, you were able to clear and get the lead, and you got down to the bottom. There was a little bit of mayhem in the back. Did you just not have the push you needed from behind to stay ahead of Killer, or what seemed to happen?
Yeah, I dropped down to the bottom. Outside obviously had a big run, and the bottom was kind of split up a little bit, so I didn't really get a big push, and he was able to get around the outside and win the race.
All right. Jake, you got any questions?
Yeah, I just got one question. I mean, by the way, congratulations on finishing top 3.
Thank you.
Yo, I do gotta say, you and Killer worked very, very well together, but Did you guys had a strategy in case something like this happened, especially when it comes down to the white flag? I mean, we've seen Mufasa helping you guys out, holding Elite back, and then all of a sudden you guys had a run right there on the outside.
Yeah, we're trying to get to the front. We got the outside working. Inside didn't have a great push, and we were able to get to the front, and we're side by side for a while.
And my next question to you is, do you have any comments about what all those are saying as far as team manipulation between you and Killer right there?
I was just trying to win the race, and I didn't get a great push, and he won the race.
All right, very well said. That is all the questions I have. All right, back to Shake.
All right. Can you try to get Fireslayer back in here? All right.
I just did.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and interview our race winner, Killer. Killer, congratulations on a win. And I'm not quite sure how the playoff system works. That win might lock you in at this point. But what was your thought process? I mean, it was the front six battling by themselves, and then a late race caution happened. What was your thought process, and what were you thinking when that yellow flag came out for the green, white, checkered?
Yeah, I mean, definitely we were sitting pretty up there. Had 3 of our cars in like a 5 or 6 car pack, and then they all started wrecking, of course. So made it a green, white, checkered, and I don't really know what happened there on the restart. All I know is that me and Jackson got to the front, and obviously he dropped down, and I was able to get to his outside and get the push to then finally clear him and be first to the finish line. So we'll definitely take a win. I don't think I'm in the playoffs, sadly, but a win's a win.
Yeah, Jake, you got anything for it?
I mean, my question to you is, I mean, that last lap, I mean, I know it was desperation, but was it really worth everything that you've done to try to work your way up into the playoffs like that?
Yeah, I mean, a win's a win.
My next question to you is, do you have any comments or any thoughts as far as what everybody's saying to you and Jackson as team race manipulation right there?
No further comment.
All right.
Well, congratulations again on the win. Fireslayer, our third place finisher. Do you have a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. Well, congratulations on a third place finish. A series you don't typically run in, but a good showing from you. Kind of a similar question I just asked Killer. Top 6 kind of by themselves right before that caution. Did you think you were in a pretty good position to potentially get a race win, or do you feel like that green, white, checkered kind of helped you a little bit?
The green, white, checker kind of helped me, but it almost fucked me in the same time. The riding the brakes, trying to hold up people, let people in, straight bullshit. 38, 98, 44. I mean, go do that shit in fucking pub lobbies, not in the league.
Yeah, well, definitely an interesting take. I mean, we definitely saw what seemed to be a little bit of a suspect ending there. Jake, do you have any questions?
First of all, I'm going to say it's good to hear from you once again, Kevin. I know it's been a while. I'm glad to see you finishing up the top 3. Second thing I want to get a chance to talk to you about is, and I want you to talk about this, that we saw what happened between the SHR drivers. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments or any thoughts about what you just saw right there?
I mean, no, I'm just hot seating. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be up there. Maybe I shouldn't be having a place to talk, whatever. But, I mean, I'm fighting for a win as well. And I have it on stream. I'm fucking full throttle. And I'm going 10 mile an hour slower than the fucking top lane, which is bullshit.
Do you feel like that needs to be worked on, especially with the many more races we have left of the season?
It needs to be worked on every time you run a plate track, because it's happening more and more often.
Well, definitely a very interesting finish. Fireslayer, again, congratulations on a third place finish. Hopefully somebody will be talking to you tomorrow night after the Cup race.
Hopefully. Yeah. I mean, I like running Bristol with the next-gen cars. should be fun. I mean, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, well,
A lot of
look forward to racing with you tomorrow.
A lot of hurt feelings are gonna be hurt again. I mean, with the bumping and banging, but it's not gonna be nothing like what you've seen today.
Well, I do got one final thing I want to say to you, Fire Slayer. Sometime we'll get a chance to broadcast the Cup race tomorrow. If I don't get a chance to talk to you until then, Merry Christmas, bud.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys as well.
Thank you very much. But Jake,
Hey, I just want to say one more thing. I mean, I hate giving interviews like this. You know, I like to be positive, but I mean, after you can't be positive after that. There's just no way.
I gotta leave my bias out of it. I'll definitely express my opinion later on in Discord, but for now, I gotta be unbiased.
I get it.
But Jake, what are your final thoughts on tonight's race?
I'm sorry, but I hate to hurt any feelings, but that was very uncalled for. I mean, I've been doing this now for 7 years. What we saw from T-Bird was ridiculous, and what we saw right there, that was even more ridiculous. I mean, I'm ashamed to even see something like that. I've been a part of this league for 7 seasons. I mean, really, truly, I think the problem is that the Xfinity Series, especially stuff like that, just needs to get their cleanup together. I mean, like, we've been doing this now for 7 seasons, and this is not the way I wanted to see, the last final race of the regular season going into the playoffs, but I mean, one thing I can assure is that come playoff time, hopefully things will be different. Things will be very competitive, as it should be. But there's no reason to see what we just seen tonight. And before I'll let you finish it off, I do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, since we'll be getting a chance to have our first stream going up in 2024. So we'll see you guys next year.
Yes, definitely. Definitely a very interesting race, some interesting moves, and a very questionable finish, to put it politely. But that pretty much wraps things up on the NASCAR side of things tonight. The Xfinity Series, and all of us will have a break next week for the holiday season, with it being Christmas and then New Year's. So, like Jake said, we will not be back with the Xfinity Series action until 2024. But that's not the end of Hennessy, because tonight we have a D2 F1 race at Japan, starting at 9 o'clock. So feel free to join in for that. And then also tomorrow night we'll have Cup Series action in our season finale at Bristol, where the bumper will be used and tempers will flare, and it should be a very interesting race and a very interesting interview from everybody afterwards as well. But thank you again for joining us. I am Shake. I was joined by the Jake. And we thank you all again. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2024.